Hello! Yes, I know this is a 40-minute video, but you can skip whenever you want. I put the timestamps in the descriptions below. I use 32 characters because I use 4 sets of 8 characters over the entire Spiral Abyss with no repeats, including those that are not built. No sharing of weapons or artifacts. First half Diluc DPS with Pyro Resonance. Second half Keqing will be doing DPS with Electro Resonance for burst uptime. Anyway, for floor 9, I really only brought 1 DPS and the rest of the characters only make a slight difference. Xingyan provides a double Pyro Resonance buff for Diluc. Sayu provides a little bit of emergency healing, and Aloy is practically useless, with only very few occasions she provided Diluc with Melt. For the first 2 chambers of floor 9, it's relatively easy. You get 5 minutes to clear the content, so if you have 1 build character per side at level 85 to 90, and the correct main stats on your artifacts, you should be able to get 3 stars without issue. Diluc is one of the hyped up characters in the early days of Genshin Impact. The truth is he doesn't even do that much damage without the right weapons or the right teams, but Diluc is naturally countering all the elements in floor 9 at the moment, and he's also a Claymore user, so he is very good against Geo Shields. On the second half of floor 9 chamber 1, I'm using Keqing as my main DPS. I'm using a double Electro team because I want to use a burst often, and the double Electro Resonance does help with that. Keqing is holding a Jade Cutter which helps with the crit rate, so I only really needed to build crit damage. The rest of the team is not built at all, like TT, Amber and Sarah are at level 50 just to get the free roll. TT is good here because she helps with applying cryo against the Hydro Major shield. She also helps with Superconduct for physical Keqing. This gives Keqing much more physical damage. Kujo Sara, on the other hand, gives Keqing much more electro damage if you build her right. If you have her on C2, all you need to do is press her elemental skill and switch to Keqing, and you get additional attack bonus. If you have her on C6, then her crit damage is also increased, but only if she does electro damage. By the way, these Spiral Abyss cards are important. On the first one I picked Elemental Burst damage bonus, and this one I picked attack bonus. They might not seem like much, but it can make the difference between a 2-star or 3-star clear. If you don't see good cards on the first day, just try again the next day because the cards do reset every day. These Fatui agents are very annoying because they put up a shield if their HP goes below 50%, or otherwise I think if the timer reaches a certain percentage. So you want to aim the enemies that are the same element as your character first, and you want to clear them first. If not, you always aim for the Hydro guy first because he can trap you and he can also heal his teammates. Diluc is particularly made for this stage because Pyro is a natural element against Cryo and Electro. So you can see how fast he clears the Cryo Gunner shield. Clearing the rest of this stage just involves mostly alternating between him pressing his elemental skill and his normal attacks. No explanations are required on this stage, I think. It's a fairly straightforward stage. By the way, if you haven't tried Spiral Abyss, I really encourage you to do so, because every time you finish your Spiral Abyss floors 9 to 12 with 9 stars each, you get 600 Primo Gems, which is equivalent to about 3.75 rolls, and Spiral Abyss resets twice a month. So that means you get to have a free 5-star character every 10 months. And that's only if you do Spiral Abyss alone. And that sounds horrible, but of course MiHoYo always gives out Primo Gems with every update, plus events, plus web events. So you should take all the Primo Gems you can get, especially the easy ones. For floor 10 side A, I'm using Tartaglia for TPS and Toma Yenfei for Pyro Resonance, which increases Child's attack. Toma and Yenfei are also good for Chamber 3 against the Abyss Vector, which we will look at later. Barbara is currently only holding a Thrilling Tales R5 level 2 because I'm using my other Thrilling Tales on Kokomi, and I don't think there's a need to do that much healing on this level. Barbara's Elemental Burst actually still does quite a lot of healing with just a Thrilling Tales level 2. For side B, I'm using Razor as a main DPS and Jean as a healer and grouper. The Cryo is there for superconduct support, although I don't recommend using Chongyun Elemental Steel while using Razor because his normal attacks turn into cryo attacks and his DPS is literally cut into half or less. The reason why I'm putting Chongyun in this team is because of Chamber 3 once again with the Abyss Herald, which we will see later on. At this stage, we just need to focus on superconduct and staying alive. For Chamber 2, same thing, pick the right card and then get rid of the Hydro guy, which can heal everyone, and then just get rid of everyone as fast as you can. For the second half, I have to get rid of the Pyro guy because I don't have a countering element on my team. So I just have to try and get rid of him before he gets his shield up. For Chamber 3, the star of the show is actually Thoma and Yanfei because they are the countering element for the Abyss Herald shields. The Abyss Herald shields are weak to Pyro element as well as Cryo element if you have it. But because I'm using my Cryo element on the second half, I'm using my Pyro for the first half. I'm just gonna run Tartaglia dry because he will be pretty much useless at the second half of the stage. And then I'm just gonna switch between Thoma and Yanfei to produce all the Pyro damage against his shield, even if they are not built. And of course, for the second half, the main stars of the show is Chongyin and Kaya. They will be freezing the Abyss Herald while his shield is up. And Razor will just be used for the first half of this stage, just to get his health down to the part where he puts his shield up. For floor 11 first half, I'm using a double Geo team together with Venti. Shielded characters get extra 15% damage. For some reason, Venti is holding a +0 feather, but he still does quite a lot of damage to swirls. I never realized it even though I had such a hard time clearing the other chambers, but for this chamber in particular, it doesn't really matter because Venti's main point in this stage is just to group all the enemies together and to stop them from moving. So that was easy. For Chamber 2, my main DPS is not Hu Tao. Well, she is the main DPS, but Albedo is actually the king here. All he does is plant his flower and people die. Yes, Hu Tao does a lot of damage, but everyone is very scattered. So whenever Kokomi's skill hits someone, a flower also pops up, and then they just get dealt 15 to 20k damage, which is great. The only reason why I didn't use Sucrose for this stage is because I was originally gonna use Sucrose for floor 12, and I didn't, and I forgot. So Albedo did fine though. For Chamber 2, I'm using Ningguang as the main damage dealer and Fischl as the sub DPS. I should really have used Ningguang just for burst and elemental skill damage because her scaling is just so good. Also, I should have used the correct artifacts for Venti. Noelle actually does quite a lot of damage during her elemental burst, despite her low level. I didn't realize until I rewatched the video. But I'll keep that in mind the next time I do my Spiral Abyss. Maybe. So that chamber half took almost 2 minutes. So I only have 1 minute to clear this level. But Hu Tao doing DPS with freeze and vaporize is definitely insane. Even though Rosaria hasn't reached her 4th ascension, which provides 15% crit rate to the whole team, Hu Tao seems to be doing fine without it. Chamber 3 first half took me 2.5 torturous minutes. I recommend you just skip it, I think. Venti did literally almost no damage because of all the specters. The rest of it is just Ningguang throwing rocks. So enjoy. Okay, finally. Anyway, I didn't use the TTDS buff in the end because I screwed up the sequence, but it didn't matter anyway because all I needed was Albedo to cast his burst, which increases Hu Tao's elemental mastery, and then she can do all the melt damage and vape damage that she needs. Okay, Freeze team first half and Melt team second half. Freeze team because I really hate the wolves flying around, so I didn't care that they had reduced electro resistance. I just didn't want them to move. I could have used Sucrose instead of Mona, but as said earlier, I forgot. But that's okay. Mona provides quite a good amount of attack bonus. Second half national team is carried by a wandering trope melt Ganyu, shielded by a Zhongli. The ideal rotation is Bennett casts his burst, and then Xiangling casts her burst, and then Ganyu does her melts as long as she's shielded, because she's really easy to interrupt and it will waste you a lot of time. But in this case, I save Xiangling's burst for the main enemy, which is this big Geodog thing. I feel like Chamber 2 first half is a giveaway because they've only put 2 enemies that are fairly easy to deal with in the first half. Just because they know that the second half will be 3 Magu Kenkis and that will be so difficult. But the Ganyu national team does a lot of damage in a short amount of time, so I'm not too worried. Now the main concern for this team is just to stay alive. So all I need to do is to make sure I dodge properly, regardless if it's a dash dodge or a burst dodge. As long as I don't die, I can always have enough time to get rid of these Kenkis. Now Chamber 3 first half has some minor strategy. I just need to go diagonal to the left and the rune defender will jump right to me, and all I need to do is freeze them and then just do the necessary buffs before going Ayaka burst mode. The rest of it depends on a bit of luck as well, because you really want them to group up, but you have very little control on what they would do. For the second half, don't run towards the Geo Wolves, run away from them and then make them come to you, and they'll group up right next to you. And that was it. Wow, you guys have made it all the way to the end of the video. You guys should touch some grass. Just kidding. Well, thank you for staying all the way to the end. I hope you like this content. If you want to see more, please subscribe and like this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!